I will review backshifting for indirect speech with the past tense reporting verbs. So let me refresh your mind. Backshifting basically means placing the verb in the that clause further into the past for reporting for indirect speech. So, for example, if we have direct speech, example, he said they go to class. If it's backshifted for indirect speech, we would say he said they went to class. The verb go is backshifted to the past tense, so it's went. Another example, he said they are going to class. If we backshift this statement to make it indirect speech, it would be he said that they were going to class. Once again, my present progressive is backshifted into the past progressive. My final example is he said they went to class. If we backshift this for indirect speech, we would say he said they had gone to class. So we take the past tense went and we put it into the past perfect had gone. The reason I'm presenting this and reviewing this is because there are situations where indirect speech with a past tense reporting verb will not have backshifting. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. The three situations are these: general truths, habits and routines, and currently continuing actions. So these three situations have no backshifting, even if the reporting verb is in the past tense. For example, general truths. We talked a little bit about this in class, so just to refresh your memory, in case you have forgotten, I doubt you have. So indirect speech without tense shift. The verb tense for general truths or facts does not change. So for example, my direct speech, she said, Earth is round. The reporting clause, as an indirect speech, she said that Earth is round. So you can see here, my verb, the be verb, does not change. It's not backshifted. The reason for this is because general truths and facts are timeless. They don't change. They are always this way. Earth is always round, has been round. I think it will always continue to be round as long as we're alive and we can report on it. So that's why it doesn't change. Moving on now to habits and routines. Before I start, let me ask you a quick review question. What verb tenses and aspect do we use for habits and routines? Okay. The answer is the simple present and simple past. So to give you an example of a simple present verb that we use for habits and routines, here it is. I wake up every morning. Okay, it's in the simple present, wake up, and it doesn't happen only once, but every morning. It's a habit, it's a routine. Then for my simple past, I ate candy every day when I was a child. It was my habit to eat candy every day when I was a child. So I ate candy every day. It was my habit. So we use the simple past. So to get back to the topic of today, the verb tenses for habits and routines do not change for when we have a past tense reporting verb in the indirect speech. So for example, direct speech, I eat every day, she said. For my reporting clause, for indirect speech, I would say, she said that she eats every day. And there is no change. The only change is that we add an s because it's she, not I, but it is still the simple present. It has not been backshifted. Okay, so direct speech, I eat every day, she said. She said that she eats every day. Okay, so I think that's pretty much well. Okay, good. Now we're going to talk about actions in progress. Actions in progress also do not are backshifted. This is because they are currently occurring and they're not occurring in the past. So for example, what verb tense and aspect do we use for continuing actions? This is a quick review question. So what do we use for verb tense and aspect do we use for continuing actions? Well, the present progressive is the answer. I'm pretty sure most of you know that. I am studying right now. She is reading a book. Okay, so moving forward, the verb tense for continuing actions does not change because they are occurring in the present, and even though it's being reported in the past, they are still occurring in the present. So for example, my direct speech example. I am driving, she said. Okay, I am driving, she said. The reporting clause, she said that she is driving. Okay, is driving is currently occurring right now, but she had told me in the past, but she is still driving in the present. Okay, so there is no backshifting in this situation. Even though the statement was in the past, the action that is being reported is occurring in the present. That concludes this section. Once again, there is no change. So there is also the situation of present tense reporting verbs. So now we are changing topic. Present tense reporting verbs does not require any backshifting, but let's talk about when we use present tense reporting verbs. We use present tense reporting verbs when the message is important, when it is being reported, or in the present moment that it's being reported. So in other words, put the reporting verb in the present tense if the message is important when reported. So for example, direct speech, my direct speech example. Dad says your room is dirty. Okay, this message is important in the present. The boy needs to clean his room. Of course, so indirect clause, nothing changes. Dad says that your room is dirty. Okay, there is no change in the verb. Okay, so and again, it's the present tense. The reason we use this is because the message is important in the present moment when it's being reported. Let me move on now. Let me summarize very quickly some of the points that we talked about. So, don't change the tense. That is no backshifting for general truths. And usually these are presented with simple present tense verbs. Also, don't backshift for habits and routines. Usually simple present tense verbs, but as my example shown, you can also use the simple past. Also for continuing actions that continue in the present. And the verbs usually are present progressive. And the second point that we learned about today in this presentation is to use the present tense for reporting verbs if the message is important in the present. Well, that concludes this presentation. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns, please email me. I'm always glad to answer questions. You can also come to class tomorrow, and I look forward to seeing you. Please have a nice day.